Welcome to EC Vlogs, a series of videos where we focus on the recent past, the present, and the future of various emerging teams. I'm your host, Jadon Singhani, and this week, the spotlight is on Malaysia. With the Malaysia T10 Bash set to get underway on the 7th of August, it seems only natural to focus on the Malaysians. But before we start to discuss their fortunes in 50-over cricket and 20-over cricket, let's focus on what's happening off the field. As reported by Tristan Lavalette in Forbes, the Malaysia Cricket Association has submitted a bid to host a World Cup in the 2023 to 2031 cycle. No associate nation has ever hosted a World Cup, which makes this really exciting news. The US and the West Indies appear favorites to host one of either the 2026 or 2030 T20 World Cups, but Malaysia has hosted their fair share of multi-nation tournaments over the years. They've hosted the Under-19 World Cup in 2008, several World Cricket League tournaments, as well as the 6-team Challenge League Group A last year. They've also got 7 grounds in Kuala Lumpur itself, with the option of co-hosting with Singapore and Thailand, the former boasting the world-renowned sports hub with a capacity of 55,000. The MCA has been very successful in spreading the game beyond those of South Asian heritage. According to the 2018 ICC census, Malaysia's participation figures in 2018 stood at nearly 50,000, a large portion of whom were ethnically Malay. Let's not forget that as World Cup hosts, Malaysia would qualify automatically, sparking mainstream interest in the sport in a country of 32 million people. Let's move on to their on-field fortunes, starting with their fortunes in T20 cricket. On paper, Malaysia's batting unit is a well-oiled machine, with a mixture of both youth and experience. If you've never watched 21-year-old Virandeep Singh bat, boy, are you missing out. He's got the composure and technique to thrive in red ball cricket, yet he has markedly improved his range hitting in the shortest format. Experienced skipper Faiz Ahmed and another 21-year-old Southpaw Syed Aziz Mubarak usually walk in later to control the middle overs, before power hitters Sharveen Munyandi and Aminuddin Ramli provide the final flourish. On the bowling front, 22-year-old Pavandeep Singh, who's the brother of Virandeep, is Malaysia's most consistent bowler. Hong Kong fans will recognize him as the man who choked them at the Asia Cup qualifiers in 2018 with a ridiculous spell of 3 for 13 in 10 overs. He's often supported by fellow left-arm spinners Fitri Sham and Anwar Rahman, but in the pace department, they do lack that out-and-out quick, which can hurt them against higher-ranked associates. That's kinda what happened on the 3rd of March this year. Malaysia squared off against Singapore at the ACC Eastern Region T20 tournament in Thailand, which also featured Hong Kong, Nepal, and the hosts. Malaysia were in high spirits after defeating Nepal just days earlier. This on the back of a 5-0 whitewash of Hong Kong just before the tournament. And now, they were only 1 win away from advancing to the main qualifiers for the now postponed Asia Cup. Singapore won the toss and chose to bat, getting off to a pretty good start. But at 96 for 1 with 9 overs left, Malaysia would have been confident of chasing anything in the region of 180. But no, Singapore's Tim David went absolutely nuts, bludgeoning 92 of 32 deliveries, which included 7 maximums and 9 boundaries. Singapore posted 239 at the end of 20 overs, with Malaysia's seamers leaking 108 runs in just 8 overs. The batsmen came out swinging, but it was all in vain, as Malaysia fell 128 runs short. This loss sucked all of the momentum out of Malaysia's campaign, and when they came up against Hong Kong just a few days later, they could have still advanced to the Asia Cup qualifiers by winning that game. But their batsmen could only post 132, and Hong Kong chased it down with 7 balls to spare. And Malaysia, tragically, saw their Asia Cup dreams go up in smoke. In their defense, they do look a stronger T20 outfit than the one that took the field at the Asia Regional Finals last year. They finished at the bottom of the table after being bowled out for 92 by Singapore, and collapsing from 108 for 2 to 144 all out against Qatar. For now, they seem to have put those bad memories to bed, and will be hoping to put on a better show when it comes to qualifying for the next T20 World Cup. Speaking of ghosts, let's move on to the 50-over format. They compete in Group A of the Challenge League, which forms part of the qualification pathway to the 2023 World Cup for teams ranked 21 to 32. Under the old World Cricket League division system, they spent the last few years going back and forth between Division 3 and Division 4. Oman and the USA, who'd competed alongside Malaysia for so many years, have now raced ahead of them, and they compete in the Cricket World Cup League 2, which is the tier just below the ODI Super League. So Malaysia began their Challenge League campaign in promising fashion with a come-from-behind victory against Denmark. But then they ran into Qatar once again. They had them reeling at 50 for 6, chasing 154, but they took their foot off the gas, and Qatar knocked off the runs with 3 wickets to spare. Things went from bad to worse against Vanuatu, where they failed to chase 66. They fell 13 runs short of Vanuatu's 65. And sure, it was a bit of a nightmare of a deck to bat on, but it wasn't 52 all-out bad. As things stand in Group A of the Challenge League, Malaysia lie in 5th position, with 10 games still remaining across 2 different round-robin tournaments between now and the end of next year. If they finish in the bottom 2, they'll have to compete in the Cricket World Cup Challenge Playoff. At the playoff, they'll be joined by the bottom 2 from Group B and the 4 highest-ranked T20I sides outside of the 3 tiers of 50-over World Cup qualification. If they finish in the top 4 of the Challenge Playoff, they will earn back their right to compete in the Challenge League, and they will be guaranteed 15 List A fixtures in the next World Cup cycle. If they finish in the bottom 4, however, they will be kicked out of the Challenge League and won't be guaranteed any List A cricket in the next World Cup cycle. All in all, Malaysia has what it takes to compete regularly in the T20 format, and probably the 50-over format as well, but they've lacked consistency over the years. If they can find this consistency, they could be the next success story like Singapore. In the increasingly competitive landscape of associate cricket, one bad week is all it takes to set a country back for years, so Malaysia will have to take the talent on paper and convert that to results on the field. I'm your host, Jay Dansinghani. If you like what you've heard, you can follow me on Twitter at JCricketDude. What are your thoughts on Malaysia's World Cup bid? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it around, and you can find us, Emerging Cricket, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.